So for anybody in this class, this is new agent orientation. There's some people that are new with us and there's some people that have been here a year or 10 years or however long. So new agent orientation just goes over kind of an introduction to the company, the things that we offer, who does what in the company, the resources you have. So I'm going to go through this presentation and I talk during it and explain things. If you guys have questions during, you can unmute yourself. There's not a ton of you guys on here. Or you can put it in the chat, and if I can't answer it right then, I'll circle back around at the end to go over any unanswered questions. And then also by the end of today, you guys will get a copy of this presentation along with a whole bunch of cliff notes to where you can just look in the email and you don't have to go back to this presentation. And anything else you guys ask for that comes up during this presentation. So welcome to Florida Homes. Welcome to New Agent Orientation. We start with the man behind the plan. That is Mr. James Angelo. He is the broker owner of Florida Homes Realty and Mortgage. So James opened the company back in 2008. And before that, he was a listing agent. He was a really, really good one. And he was just tired of paying franchise fees, different commission splits to where he couldn't either pay off debt or reinvest money back into his business to grow his business further. So then he had a vision for Florida Homes, opened us in 2008 during the midst of REOs, foreclosure, short sales, a weird market. And here we are today, getting bigger every day and striving to do whatever the agents need us to do. That's my number one thing I love about the company. I've been here 8 years is we grow by you guys. So the feedback that you give us, what you don't like, what you do like, what you wish we had, please always let us know because that's how we are able to implement new things as we can. So James is a oddly available man. I don't think he sleeps. That's his cell phone number. You can always call or text him. And he's there if you need broker support, if you need help with negotiation, listing agreements, contracts, you have questions about the lawsuit that just happened. I will show you guys a folder today of all these trainings he did on the NAR antitrust and stuff like that. And I include it in the email later. But he'll talk to you about that. If you kind of have a game plan of where you want to be in a year, 5 years, 10 years, and you just don't know how to start that, he's really big on playbooks, so he can help you with that. And then James also still does ongoing training for the company. Lately, it's been on the antitrust lawsuit, but before that, he would train on listings because that's what he was, a listing agent. Right now, he's been going over like the buyer broker agreement, how to implement it. We have a presentation that goes along with it. So he does those in person, but they're also all recorded, so you can watch them whenever you want to. So you can always call or text him. Like I said, oddly available man. And he's usually here in the office at corporate off Bay Meadows, usually almost every day a week. So if you ever need to come in here and meet with him, you have that opportunity as well. These are some of our awards and accolades. So we are the #4 brokerage in the state of Florida, the #1 brokerage in all of North Florida, and then the #23 brokerage in the United States. The company has received the Fast 50 award since 2016, which it's ranked by Jacksonville Business Journal. It just means we're one of the fastest growing companies. And then the brokerage has also been entered into the Billionaires Broker Club for the last 4 years as well. All of these awards and accolades will be updated as we get new awards and accolades. They can all be found in Workspace, but they can also all be found. We have a listing presentation already made for you guys in Workspace, so they're also all found on there. And whenever we get new ones or new rankings, those are also updated for you all. We usually send out messages too, but if you ever need to know where they are, how to find them, just email us or give us a call and we'll help you. Going over some of our staff. So a few years ago, we wanted James to be able to have time for himself, his family, things to where he doesn't always have to be in here. So we implemented our broker hotline, which is a hotline that will round robin between broker associates. Now, right now, Stephanie's the only one on the broker hotline, but eventually that's what will happen. So she is there for all types of broker support, listing agreement, purchase and sale, binder disputes, broker related things. We're not trying to kill any brokers. They're not 24/7. So they're Monday through Friday, 10 to 6. If it's ever after hours or on the weekends, you can always call or text James. That's why I gave you a cell phone number in the beginning. Now, the number underneath Stephanie's name, that's her work cell. So you can call or text that number. The number that's the second bullet up from the top, that's a landline. So it's the hotline number that will eventually round robin. So you can't text that one. So just call that one. And then they have their email at the bottom too, the brokers that love FHRM. And that's if if you want them to review something before you get it executed by buyers or sellers or something like that. Now we have a whole compliance team that I'll get into that they overlook your paperwork and make sure everything's good. But if you ever wanted somebody to go over it with you or make sure you filled it out right before you actually get it executed, that's where Stephanie would come in or a broker would come in. Tiffany Blocker, she is our director of operations. So she has been with James for a long, long time. She was his assistant back when he was still practicing real estate. So they've been working together a long time. And she just oversees the operations of the company. So as we join new MLSs, open in new cities with new boards, open new offices, getting that ready to go for agents to use. She's also full-time resource for agent help, REO foreclosure, because that's when we open. So she has a lot of knowledge in that aspect. We're soon to be opening in Georgia. She's spearheading that. So all types of things like that would be Tiffany. Tarsha Thomas, you're going to see her twice in this presentation because she took over another job on top of the one she already had. So on this slide, she's operational admin. So she works with Tiffany and she handles our LoopNet account, which I have a slide on that later on. LoopNet is where you can list commercial properties. So she is the one that if you need to get something marketed on there, you'd go through her. She also handles the communications for license renewals and MLS dues. So if any of you guys were close to renewal this year or hadn't paid your dues yet, you probably got messages from Tarsha saying, hey, this is what you need to do to keep your license in compliance. Or if you don't plan on renewing your MLS, here's the options you have to where you can still be active with us and legally compensated. And then on this side as well, she handles the setup of your Quantum Digital account, which I have a slide on later on as well. It's a farming program that we use for like just listed, just sold postcards, mailers, trigger mailing, calendars, just stuff for farming. Most of the numbers on the screen are our cell phone numbers, so you can call or text them. Taylor Johnson, that's me. I do recruiting for the company. So I've been with James for, it'll be 8 years in April. Started as the receptionist, and then a couple months in, Stephanie and James brought me in a room and told me it wasn't working out, thought they were firing me. No, they just wanted to move me to recruiting, which is where I've been ever since. I love what I do. I love hearing you guys refer agents to work with a brokerage that you love and how we can help you reach your goals and just how we've changed from when I first started here, you know, trying to do all this manpower, trying to do all these things for agents, and we just didn't have the manpower. So now being able to implement all that stuff is really cool. So if you guys have anybody looking to join or maybe interested, or you want me to reach out to them first, you can call or text me or Tarsha, and we will get an appointment set up or stuff sent over to them for them to look over and see if it's something they're interested in. And then a lot of us, like the core 5 of us that have been here so long, we can help with kind of whatever realm. If we can't, we'll get you to the right person that can. So I also assist with KV Core, Bold Trail, the website stuff, Dotloop, Workspace, marketing stuff. If you guys need help onboarding or people are coming from other companies and they need help getting listings transferred or signs redone, I'm kind of a resource for that as well. And then trainings like this, of course. And then Tarsha on this slide, she's my onboarding specialist. So that's what she started as with us. And then she's just, we don't know what we would do without Tarsha. So when you guys decided to join Florida Homes, she's the one that moved your license in the state, got you active with DBPR under us, notified MLSs and boards if you already belong to them. If not, she probably helped you join them. She also handles setting up all of your platforms with us. So Workspace, making sure you get in there. We have a program that everybody has access to. When you guys start referring other agents to work with the company, you have a portal to that to see like who you've referred, your downline lineage, what transactions they have, what your check looks like for that month, because we do the revenue share off of whatever agent you're referring. So she helps with all that and get you set up. And then, like I said, full-time resource. If I'm ever in a training or in a recruiting meeting and you need to get a hold of me, you can always call or text Tarsha. And if she doesn't know the answer, she'll pop in here and ask me. Tessie Garcia, she is the one that you guys will meet or hear when you walk into the office first or call into the office. And then she will get you to wherever you need to be. So if she can help you, she always will. But if it's not for her to help, then she will get you guys transferred to whoever can help you. And then she sends out just little like recognition posts or like birthdays, anniversaries, stuff like that, just to let you guys know that we appreciate that all of you guys are here. Amir Shadmani, he is the Director of Marketing and Communications. So primarily working hand in hand with marketing, he oversees everything they're doing to make sure the correct marketing is going out at the correct times. That when we implement new things, you guys are aware of it and we get it out to everyone so nobody is missing anything. And then he oversees the communications department as well, making sure, same thing, you guys are notified of everything going on. As we have holiday parties or annual meetings or get-togethers or whatever it may be, making sure the communications go out to the right people. Freza Alejo, she is recruiting and communication. So unfortunately, I only speak English and sarcasm. So Freza helps me out there. She's bilingual. So if you guys ever have somebody that is more comfortable speaking in Spanish or just prefers that, Freza's your gal. And she does that for recruiting and as well as communications and some training. Like she translates most of our training from English to Spanish. It's really cool. And then on the communication side, you'll hear from her when you join the company. 15 days, 30 days, and then periodically after that, just to make sure you're aware of everything going on, you're okay, you don't need anything from us, just to let you know we're here. And then also for communication, she handles our events. So getting the venues, making sure we have all the sponsors we need. She also manages our approved vendors list, so people that we use for certain things. So if you have somebody that's interested on being on that list, you can email Freza and tell her whatever it is, whoever it is, and then she'll schedule a call for Amir and that person or James and that person and see if they're good fits for the approved vendors list. Eli Harris and Lara Keyser, they are both communications and social media, so they both do the same job. So we have a program called the Listed to Sold program. Sorry guys, my phone's ringing. I need to turn that on Do Not Disturb. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's really loud right in my ear. Okay. Can you guys still see my screen? Yes. Does it say Eli and Lara? Perfect. So they both have the same job as far as the listed to sold program goes. So this program is where every time you list or sell property, one of them is going to make you a graphic that says just listed, just sold, your contact info, the stats on the property. They're going to share that to social media, but they're also going to share it to you for any marketing you'd like to use it for. So Eli does the listed, I believe, and I think Lara does the sold. I might have that completely backwards, but I think that's how it goes. And then Eli helps out with marketing wherever he can. So sometimes I'll see him taking headshots or taking videos or just helping out. And then Lara helps with social media. So usually when people join, they'll come in for what we call an onboarding appointment. So over here at corporate, we take free headshots, we do free videography, and then Lara will sit with you and help you set up your social media outlets. If you already have them, she'll help you transition them over, make sure you have business pages. And make sure that you're in compliance with the company. And then if you don't have them, she would help you set up all that stuff. And you can make an appointment right with her, or there's a link on Workspace, one of the banners at the top, where you can schedule videography, headshots, social media, whatever you're looking for. Sherry Scholler, she is our Director of Contract Compliance. So she is the one that is ultimately going to make sure you get paid at the closing. So be nice to Sherry. She oversees all of compliance. So I'll come back to her, but Taylor and Gigi, their main jobs are compliance approving. So as you guys are uploading transactions to Workspace and uploading documents, they're going to go in there and start approving or denying them. If they approve them, you're good to go. If they deny them, you'll get a message saying why they denied it and how to fix it. So Gigi usually handles like the front end of that, which is mainly for listings. So if you guys have a listing that you put on the MLS today, Gigi gets notified about it, and then she goes and she looks in Workspace to first make sure you have a listing agreement uploaded for us. If not, she'll send you a message that says, please upload this within 24 hours. If that listing agreement is there, she's just going to do a check and balance. She's going to make sure everything that it says on that listing agreement is what it says on the MLS. That way, if not, we can get it corrected before it goes any further. And then Taylor is approving or denying documents pretty much for all the rest of them throughout the day. Once everything's approved, she will then hand it over to Sherry, who will do a final audit, another check and balance just to make sure everything is correct. And then Sherry is the one that will actually send out the commission disbursement authorization to title to tell them how to pay you. That way you walk away from closing with a check made out to you in your name. You can go put it in your bank account. They'll cut a check separate for Florida Homes for our commission and transaction fee, which you can drop it by here if you want to come by and see us, or you can just have them mail it to us, either way. Now, Sherry also manages our agent caps. So we have an annual cap, which is January to December, resets every January. That cap is 10,500. Once you reach that cap, Sherry, with every transaction you're doing, Sherry is keeping track of how much you're paying into Florida Homes. That way, when you do reach that 10.5, we pay you appropriately for the rest of that calendar year. And if you happen to cap like in the middle of a transaction, like let's say you only had 400,000 to go in a sales price and you cap at 200, or you cap at, half of that, 200,000. She'll take the regular commission off whatever it is to cap you, and then the rest will be calculated at the cap rate, which is 0.0003. So you never have to worry about that. They're on top of it. But if you ever do have questions, always call or email Sherry. She also handles our coaching program. So we have a coaching program that people can decide to opt into. It's not a mandatory thing. But if you decide to join that program, she will make sure you are like set up under the right thing to where when you do your closings, everybody's paid out appropriately if you're part of coaching. And then same thing for agent contribution. So if you're ever looking to contribute any of your commission to the buyer, seller, whoever you're trying to contribute it to, you will just send Sherry an email saying, hey, I'm looking to contribute 1% of my commission to the buyer for closing cost. Send it over to Sherry. She'll write it up on a letterhead for you, and then she will send it back to you so that you can send it over to title so they can reflect it on the HUD. And then if you guys need help with like uploading your first transaction or paperwork or whatever it may be, call any of them. You can call me. We all know it like the back of our hands, so we can help. I do a training. I think it's one Wednesday out of every month is what we have it at now. I do a training on Workspace, which is our intranet system. It used to be Back Agent for those of you who have been with us a long time. So they got bought out by Lone Wolf. So it's called Workspace now. And it's the same concept, just a newer look, but it works the same. But I do a training on that once a month on Wednesdays. And usually today, when I send you guys that email, I'll include the last recording of that one I did, because I do touch on transactions a little bit, at least how to upload paperwork and what all a transaction does. So I'll include that later on too. And then I do the class, I think it's the second Wednesday of every month. So you can always attend that as well. Chrissy Smith is our accounting manager. So she oversees the accounting department. And I have their new job duties here. I need to update this presentation, which I will before I send it. So accounting department service escalation, feedback and dispute resolution, confirmation of incoming wires and ACH transfers. This is what Chrissy handles. Cap refunds, meaning if you capped in the middle of a transaction and we owe you money, she would handle that with Sherry. Payroll and timesheets for the company, Chrissy does. Employment and payroll tax documents, and then employment verifications would all be Chrissy. Now, John, he's also in accounting, and he's our senior accountant, and he does commission payouts, vendor accounts, and activity ledgers. So if we're paying other companies or sponsors, or if they're paying us or whatever that may be. Copies of 1099s, John can also do. So if you guys have not received your 1099 and you know you're supposed to have one, you can email John or call him and just say you don't have it, and they have electronic copies of them. Vendor bill payments, and then residual and referral payouts. So residual is when you're referring other agents to work with us, that revenue share, he does those payouts. And then expense reimbursements, and that would be mainly for like the company staff, things like that. And then we have someone new in accounting, which is accounts receivable. That's Edwin. I will add him to this slide before I send it to you guys later today. And he does W-9s, direct deposit authorizations, because we just started offering direct deposit this year. Receiving payments, running credit cards, bank deposits, and retrieving files from archives would be Edwin. So I will include all of these people that are not on here. It's only one, but I will include him when I send this later on today. Colton and Ollie, they both have pretty much the same job. They just have things that they're either they think they're better at. They're both amazing at everything in marketing, but they have the things that they like to do or that they find joy in doing. So both of them can do headshots, headshot editing, videos, video editing. They can both do collaboration with you. So if you need advice, marketing advice or anything like that, they can help you. Graphic design as far as logos or flyers or whatever you're looking to do. As long as it's real estate related, they can help you. So primarily Ollie is the one that takes the photos and then Colton will edit them, the headshots. And then Ollie does a lot of our videos. He is amazing at it. I don't know how they do half the things they do. It's way above my job scope, but they're amazing what they do. So if you guys ever need help or want to come in and figure out what we can do for you, reach out to one of them. It's both of their cell phones and schedule a time to come in. And all of the staff, we work out of the same business park in Jacksonville. So if you're not in Jacksonville, schedule a Zoom or we can get on a phone call. Unless you want to drive here, we're open to that too. But we all work in the same business park. So if you come in and you need help from just them, or I mean, from more than just them, we're all in the same place. Ken Smith is our property management director. So we have a property management company through Florida Homes, and you have different options there. So if you want to be a property manager, it's a conversation to be had. I don't think they have any open portfolios, meaning like you couldn't just come on and start managing properties. You have to bring your own or your own owners that want their properties managed. So you could do that and have a conversation and make sure it's something you want to do. Or if you're like me and you do not want to be a property manager, they have a nice referral system back and forth. So if I have an owner that wants me to manage their property, I don't want to do it, so I'm going to refer it over to property management. I get an incentive for that. And then it's really cool whenever that owner actually turns around and wants to sell it again, property management gives it right back to you to list it and sell it. So it's a nice little referral back and forth. But if you want to be a property manager, that's an option too. Just call, text, or email Ken. And then Rick Bertel, he runs our commercial division. So we have commercial throughout the company as well. Again, you're not going to catch me doing commercial. I'm just terrified of it. It's kind of like a Shark Tank in my opinion. But if you're interested in doing it, you can team up with Rick or get some hand holding or whatever you need or advice. Or if you're like me and you don't want to do it, you can do the same referral type of thing to where if I have somebody that wants to buy commercial property, I don't want to do it. So I refer it over to Rick. Me and Rick do a referral agreement. I'm going to get this much for referring Rick the business. He's going to get this much for actually working the business, which is all negotiable between you and him. And then once it closes, I get paid out whatever amount we agreed on. Now, if you are interested in actually doing the transaction, but you need help with it, do it vice versa to where you are working the transaction. Rick has agreed to help you and you guys are going to do a referral agreement and just pay him for helping you again, negotiable, whatever you two agree on. That's his cell phone. You can call or text him. He does commercial, land, business. He's been doing it a long time. He's based at a Space Coast, our Space Coast area office, like Melbourne, but Rick goes where the money goes. I see him in Jacksonville like 2 or 3 times a week. Same thing with like Orlando and Tampa. He's usually scattered throughout those places. So don't think he can't help you just because that's where he's based out of. He goes wherever. LoopNet, this is what I referred to earlier for the commercial MLS. So if you guys have commercial properties that you're trying to list, you can also list them on the MLS, but this is another alternative for marketing to get more traction. So for LoopNet, if you want to list on there, we're grandfathered into our prices. We've had this account a long time. So for us, it's $85 a month for your first listing and $60 for those that you add to it a month after that. Now, I like going through us too. 1, because we're cheaper. So LoopNet's prices are higher than this. And then 2, LoopNet, if you go through them, you have to do a 6-month minimum. So if I list my property in January, it closes in February, I'm still paying for those other 4 months. Whereas us, we do it on a month-to-month basis. So if you list it in January, it closes in February, that's all you're paying. And if you guys need more information about this or how it works or where it goes or who sees it or whatever you have questions on, email Tarsha at the bottom, her corp email. And she can help you figure out if it's something you should do or whatever your questions are. $1 Million Success Track. So we have coaching, like I mentioned earlier, just making sure he's not on here. Sometimes he gets on here to talk about it. So coaching is something that's offered through the company. And a lot of people think that it's for brand new agents. It can be, but it's also for seasoned agents. He kind of just meets you where you're at. So you can always have a free consultation with him. The number you can call, text, or email the email at the bottom, either one, to set up that consultation to see if you guys are good fits for each other. So for them, you have your own portal through them to where you have tons of modules and accountability things and tips and tricks and all types of stuff. There's tons of materials in there as far as presentation, open house checklist, how to do certain things. They have their accountability coaching to make sure, okay, you signed up for it. Let's hold you accountable to make sure you're getting what you paid for. 7 pillars of success, weekly masterminds. They also do lead generation training techniques, and he does these virtual and in person. So he's also in the same business park as us, but he also travels to different offices. So you can always come in here for the training, or he live streams it on Zoom for his coachees, whoever's in coaching as well. For them, it's a 70-30 split for your first $1 million in production. So that could be you selling $1 million home. That could be you selling 2 $500,000 homes, so on and so forth. And then after that, you're back on the normal 0.002, unless you decide to stay in coaching and then you and, Bernard work out whatever you guys want to work out. So if that's something that interests you, I always say if you've never had a consultation with them, it takes 20 minutes. Go ahead and do it, because a lot of people that maybe not be ready for coaching right now, they still get really good feedback of where they're at and kind of where to start just from that consultation. So if you want to take advantage of that, it's free, go for it. There's also a banner on Workspace on the home page at the top. And if you scroll through, you'll see a banner that says coaching. And if you follow that link, it takes you to a calendar to where you can actually schedule your own consultation if you wanted to do that. Policy and procedure manual. So this policy and procedure manual, it's always located in Workspace. It always has been. It's also one of those banners at the top where you'll scroll and it'll say policy manual and you can click on it and read through it. The reason it's in here right now is because after the whole lawsuit, NAR antitrust, we just put some stuff in here that agents need to know as they're coming on board. So the whole policy manual is not in this presentation, but I've just added some things that are newer to the policy manual. So number 1 is the commission policy with sellers and buyers. There is no standard commission. There's no implied, customary, usual. It's all negotiable. Underneath of that, no buyer broker compensation, no compensation at all, may be displayed in the MLS. MLS will fine you $1,000, at least NEFAR. I know theirs is $1,000. I don't know about the other ones. They'll fine you $1,000 and the broker would fine you $500. So we like to make people aware of it before it gets to that point. So please do not offer any compensation or do not show it. No broker to broker co-op. So this one, I don't know why they put it in here. It's kind of hard to explain, but I think I've got it. So this just means it's mainly for listings. And it just means we're not going to pay another brokerage. So for instance, let's say that I have a listing and the seller has agreed to pay me 3%, and the seller has also agreed to pay a buyer's agent 3%. Let's say that that buyer's agent comes from Watson. When we go to closing, the seller's not going to cut Florida Homes a check for 6%, and then we're going to pay Watson 3%. It's all going to be done at title. So when we go to closing, they're going to cut Florida Homes 3%. They're going to cut Watson 3%. We're just not going to pay the other brokerage. It's all going to be done through title. If that doesn't make sense, let me know or put it in the chat, call, text, or email me, and I'll try to explain it better. It's really nothing to worry about. Underneath of that, it is saying that you are going to agree and adhere to all NAR, FAR, MLS rules, fines, regulations, as far as advertising, marketing, documents, all of that stuff. Do not call registry. Please do not call anybody on that list. It is prohibited. As well as auto dialers. Auto dialers for real estate or for our company are also prohibited. So no robo dialing. And again, anything you guys have questions on here, or you're doing something for marketing that you might be like, oh, am I doing it right? Send us an email and we'll let you know if it's the right way you're doing it, if it's fine, or if there's another way it can be done to where everything's good. At the top, it just says the same thing as it did on like 2 slides ago, that you guys are going to acknowledge and adhere to all NAR, FAR, MLS, state, federal, antitrust laws, regulations, policies. And then underneath of that, FHRM policy is that no broker agent compensation or tenant agent compensation may be displayed on the MLS. I don't know if there's any other ones in here. No. So then we go into our office location. So in Northeast Florida area is what I kind of call it. We have our corporate offices, which are off RG Skinner. I'm in one of them right now. We have 6 in here. And it's for all the staff. You'll notice the numbers are a little spread out. Like we're not all right next to each other, because when James opened this company, he opened us as a debt-free company. And that's how he likes to keep the company, so that we can keep the structure for our agent. So the people in between the numbers weren't selling, they were only leasing. So that's why we're a little spread out, but it's not that far of a walk. And then as far as agent use offices is what I call them, we have Julington Creek, which it's before the Julington Creek Bridge. It's by V Pizza on San Jose. Orange Park, across from Texas Roadhouse on Blanding, if you're familiar. Fleming Island is back by the hospital and the IHOP. Amelia Island, I'm not familiar with that area, but it's off Gateway Boulevard. Southside office is literally 2 minutes down the road from corporate, like toward IKEA. Very close to corporate. Then we have our corporate offices, Jack's Beach, which is behind Mellow Mushroom or Salt Life, on 3rd Street. And then St. Augustine is off State Road 312. It's by like Longhorn and Hobby Lobby, if you're familiar with those areas. So I call them agent use offices because they're not staffed, because all of the staff works out of corporate. So all the other offices we have, you guys will have 24/7 access to whichever ones you want. But you're not going to be in there working with staff. So you might be in there with 3 agents, you might be in there with 6 agents, just really depends on the day and time that you go in there. Now, when you guys start with the company, we put you in one office to start, just because we don't use keys. Everybody was losing them. We use alarm codes, alarm panels. So we can't put 3,000 agents in each alarm. It just doesn't hold that many people. So we usually start you in one office to start, like your home office. But if you ever need access to any of the other ones, give us at least a 24-hour heads up. If you can do it sooner than that, perfect. But we can add you to any of the other offices electronically from our computers. Now, outside of Northeast Florida areas, Keystone should have been. You guys get it. So outside of those areas, we have Gainesville, Keystone Heights, Palm Coast, Orlando, Tampa, Melbourne, and Okeechobee. Same concept. All of the offices have computers, printers, conference rooms, Wi-Fi. There's no fees for any of that stuff. Our printers just only print in black and white, but as many black and whites as you need. And again, we put you in one home office to start. So if you guys don't know what your home office is and you just want to make sure you have access before you go to one, send us an email, send me or Tarsha an email. We will get you access or let you know what your codes are if you haven't been in there in a long time. If you visit that link at the bottom too, it'll take you to all the physical addresses to where, like, if you want to GPS it from wherever you are, you can. All the boards and MLSs that we belong to. So there's a lot of them. We belong to most of them throughout the state. Florida is a very stubborn state. So as I sit with agents for these last 8 years, we have a lot of agents that are dual licensed in Georgia. And everyone I talk to, they're like, yeah, there's only 2 or 3 MLSs in Georgia for the whole state. Florida's not like that. We pretty much have a different MLS for every city in Florida. So even Jacksonville, St. Augustine being so close, totally different boards, totally different MLSs. Now we started data sharing. Jacksonville started data sharing with St. Augustine or something like that last year, got a little smart. But we belong to all of these. So the benefit to belong to all of them is we only require you to belong to one MLS to actively sell real estate with our company. But if you want to join more than one, your broker has to belong to that MLS for you to join it. So we belong to most of them throughout the state. So if you ever wanted to do secondary membership somewhere and have MLS access, you could, is one of the benefits. I'm not going to say all these, but I'll stay on the screen a second so you guys can just see where we're at. And then some of these are the same MLS system. So for instance, a year or two ago, Stellar MLS, which used to be My Florida Regional, it used to be Orlando. They became Stellar MLS and they started sharing with other cities around them. So when you join Stellar, you don't just get access to Orlando, you get Orlando, Tampa, Gainesville, Ocala, Okeechobee, some outskirt cities of all of that. It's a pretty big MLS. So if you guys ever have questions about which one should I join or anything at all, let me know about that because the MLSs can be a little funky here. So also you'll notice that some of these MLSs that we belong to, you didn't see a physical office there, which is also cool. So for instance, Fort Lauderdale or Emerald Coast, either one. We don't have physical offices in those cities, no brick and mortars, but we belong to the MLS and the boards there, which means as long as an agent doesn't physically need an office, they can still join us and take advantage of our structure. We just have to belong to that board in MLS for the agent to join us if that's the board they belong to. And we belong to most of them. There's a couple that we haven't joined. Just because we haven't needed to yet, but it's not off the table. Like when I first started here 8 years ago, I think we only belonged to 4 or 5 MLSs. Now it's all these. So we just send us an email and let us know which one you want us to join and why. We kind of do the legwork on how many agents are there, how much does it cost? Do we have to have an office there? Does James have to go there for training? Once we get all that done, we present it to James and he says, go for it, or let's hold off for a minute or whatever he says. And then another benefit is we belong to all of these. Anyone that we belong to means we have agents there. We usually wouldn't join it unless we had agents working there or using it. So if I'm in Jacksonville and I have somebody that wants to sell a piece of property in Miami, I can either drive there and try to do it. I can also, a lot of these boards that we belong to, they do what's called our one-time reciprocal listing. So maybe I don't want to join that MLS, but I want to list in there. They'll do a one-time fee of like 150 to 250 to list that listing in a different MLS. It stays there till it closes with all your information on it, so your leads aren't going anywhere else. They just put it in, input it for you and make the changes for you, which can be a little weird, and showing time wouldn't work because it's not you as the listing agent. So you just have to think about some stuff like that. Now, vacant land might be the prime suspect for that, where it's easier to do it like that. But as far as like open houses, showing time, and actual property, you might want to just join that board secondary. Or knowing that we have agents in all these cities, if I have somebody that wants to sell in Miami, I might find one of our agents in Miami and ask them to co-list with me. Hey, you want to co-list? I'll put it in NEFAR, Jack, my MLS. You put it in that MLS. We'll split the commission 50-50 or whatever we agree on. So there's a couple options there. If you guys have any questions about the MLSs, the boards, or any of that stuff I just went over, just let me know. First National Land Transfer. So they are one of our preferred title companies. We've worked with Angel a long time. Angel, and his tagline is, we work when you work. He's not wrong, they do. I've seen him answer phones on vacation in Peru and all types of stuff. So they are fast and accurate. They are a mobile title company, so they close anywhere, anytime with no extra charge, evening and weekend closings. They do commercial title. They also wire the commissions directly into your bank account, like a direct deposit, and that's free of charge. They do net sheet calculations. They can do them, customize them up for you, or everybody has their own net sheet portal through them if you're an agent with us. And if you don't know those credentials or anything I'm talking about, email Angel and he'll get somebody from his team to send over your credentials or how to log into that. And then you'll see a lot of trainings that he does for us as well. They do like net sheet training, understanding your settlement statement, how is the NAR lawsuit affecting closings? Like he's been doing some stuff like that. So they're always on the calendar a couple times a month. If you have time to do any of those, please do. He's also bilingual, and that's his cell phone number. So you can call, text, email him. Landmark Title, another preferred title company. So we've worked with David Heekin and his team a long time. They're awesome. Nicole Carroll is our contact over there. You can call, text, or email her. So for them, they're not just closings. They do estate planning, foreclosure, litigation, probate. They have over 20 attorneys with tons of experience. They also have their Landmark Foundation, which I think is really cool, where they get out back in the community and give back. And they're just a really good partner that we've always had. We usually do some trainings in their office. They kind of have like an auditorium style type office. So a lot of James's in-person training that he's been doing on like the buyer broker agreement and stuff has been done at their office. And then they do some training for us too, that you'll see on the calendar, both in person and virtual. Omega National Title, also preferred title company. We work with Justin Franson. He's our contact over there. So they have 15 locations throughout Florida, one in North Carolina, attorneys on staff. They also wire the commissions into your bank account like a direct deposit, free of charge. They have training and classroom space available too. And a lot of people see that and they think it's just for us, like James's trainings that he's doing at Landmark, you know, us using the classroom and stuff like that. It's also for you guys. So if you guys, I have some agents that like to do like first time home buyer seminars, and they like to have a group of like 10 or whoever, you know, come to that and whatever they're doing there. So you guys can use that space too. I would assume it would need to be like real estate related, but you'd have to talk to Justin about that. I think if you scan either of those QR codes, it'll save their contact to your phone or take you to their contact info. And then they also have in-house transaction coordinator coming soon, which means every time you use them, you'd get your free in-house transaction coordinator, as well as statewide property data access. Now I'm still trying to figure out when they're doing that and how they're doing that. I don't know if they're using like My State MLS. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. Or if they have some different program of what they're doing. So I'm kind of just trying to be patient until he tells me they're about to roll that out. I think the transaction coordinator is either already rolled out or coming very, very soon. I'll try to get an answer from him though before I send you guys all this stuff over. Oops. CMG Home Loans. So the JZ team, we've also worked with Jamie Zeitz for a long time. Jamie Zeitz used to be, who is he with? He was with Homebridge Financial. And then like 2 or 3 years ago, Homebridge and CMG merged, and it has been amazing. So we've worked with Jamie a long time. You'll see some trainings for him as well. I think he did one this morning, and he's usually offers CE credits, which I think is cool. His team's awesome. They are always available, always great with communication. They have their traditional products, but then they have niche products, and that's what a lot of Jamie's training is on. Rate, rebound, all types of stuff. So they also do free marketing for our agents. So if anybody is interested, if you email him or one of his team members, which I think that QR code will give you their information. If you email them over your contact info and your headshot, if you want your headshot to be on marketing, if not, just send them whatever you want on the marketing, and they do co-branded marketing material for you. And I like how they do it, one, because it saves me time, you know, saves somebody time to where in between of the marketing you're putting out, you still have other stuff to put out. And then also it's just, sometimes it's helpful for people to see it from another side. So with us being on the realtor side or real estate side, on the mortgage side, it's a little different. So a lot of stuff he does is like graphic based, to where it says, okay, in 2017, this sales price, this interest rate, here was that monthly payment. 2023, 4, 5, whatever year we're in, here's the same sales price, different interest rate. Here's their monthly payment. And he kind of shows side by side that yes, it's different, but not too different, to where people still are understanding like, okay, I can still buy, or whatever it may be. So if you guys send them an email, they will do any of that stuff for you. We also got large enough 4 or 5 years ago to where we're able to offer agent group health insurance. So you still pay for it, it's just at a group discounted rate. So in the email that I'm going to send you guys later, there's a link in this slide, the worthyfinancial.com link. I will include that link in the body of the email, so you can just click on it. You don't have to come back to the slide to find it. That way you can look over the plans if it's something that you or your family need or you're interested in. They also have like add-ons for dental, vision, and other coverages. Sean Morrison is our contact there. I believe he does a training. I think it's the first Tuesday of every month at like 10 a.m. or something. I'll try to include the last recording of that he did too. Now it's not a requirement, it's just something that we think is cool that we're able to offer, especially with all of you guys being independent contractors. So if you guys need more information, you can call, text, or email Sean, and I will send that information over later. As well with that, we were also able to offer a SEP IRA plan, more for like retirement. So if it's something you're interested in, you're able to contribute $62,000 a year or up to 25% profit, whichever one's less. This is through Investra Financial Services. Erin is the owner of Investra. We used to work next to her until they moved like a year or two ago. She's awesome. She's helped a lot of people. Now, Callie's our contact, so you can call, text, or email her just to get more information, or if you have questions, or if it's something you do want to start doing, get in touch with them and they will give you a game plan on how to start doing that. Workspace, our intranet system. So it's pretty much your home base for the company. Like I said, those of you that have been with us longer than 2 years, it used to be called Back Agent. Same concept, new look. So pretty much your home base for the company. This is where you're going to find the training calendar. We have a library on this system of all of the trainings that we've recorded, or James's trainings. Where it says coaching and mentoring on that graphic, that's the banner that I keep referring to when I say it's a banner, it's a banner. Those are the banners. And if you hover over it, arrows will pop up and you can get to something faster. And if you click on any of those banners, it will take you to the corresponding website, information, or resource, or a calendar link where you could schedule headshots, coaching consultation, videography. There's like 30 banners up there. So, and I go over those on my training on Workspace. So if anybody needs help with that, just let me know. There's also a free marketing portal on this system. So if you're looking at the picture where it says promote, when you click on that, it'll bring you to another screen and you're going to see a box that says social media. If you click on that, there's tons of content already created. Email signatures, Facebook cover templates, business card templates, just listed, just sold, holidays, testimonial templates, meet the agent, looking to sell. That's just like a third of them. So we constantly add to that. Again, the feedback you give us, we take and we run with it and see what we can implement. So anything that you see on there or don't see that you need, let us know. We will try to get it implemented for you, but there's tons of content already created in compliance with the company, to where on that graphic, it might say testimonial templates. And there's going to be like agent name, you would change that to your name. There's going to be a spot to actually put the testimonial from whoever the person is. So it's all done through Canva. We just do it all through the free Canva version because we know not all of you pay for it. But if you need help with that, there is instructions in there, or you can call, email, text us, stop by, whatever you want to do. And then there's also in that social media section, there's a free background remover for your photo. So if you have a really great photo, but you're outside and you just want it to be like a standalone picture, like for a business card, I was trying to find one that I had. It does that for free too, and it takes like 2 minutes. Also in this system, you'll see the local post wall under the banner. That's a huge communication wall. So whether you're looking for a good home inspector in Jacksonville, or agent to team up with in a different state, city, whatever it may be, it's just a wall to get recommendations and referrals. We also have a Facebook page that does the same thing, and an ongoing Facebook Messenger group also does the same thing. If you're not on any or all of those, send me an email and I'll make sure we get you added. This system is also where you put your transaction documents for compliance. So the transact tab at the top, that's where you'd click on to start a transaction and upload your documents for compliance. If you don't see a transact tab, it's either because you're a referral agent with us, or after like 60 days, if you haven't logged into the system, your transaction tab falls off and you just got to email us or call us, and it takes 5 seconds to put right back on. But that's where you put all your documents. Also under that transact tab is where you find all of our listings. So we have a blanket over our brokerage. That means that any listings that we have, you're allowed to market. So if you're new to us or whatever it is, and you don't have any listings, you can market any of the ones we have as long as you're an agent with us. And that's where you can find them. You can also find other agents. So if you're looking to find, like, send a message to all of our Gainesville agents about whatever it may be, you can. And then there's also a merchandise store in there. They have like coffee mugs, backpacks, purses. They have all types of stuff in there. The merchandise store is fine for just stuff that you want to be branded to the company. The only thing I don't like about the merchandise store is you can't customize it. So if I want a coffee mug that says Florida Homes, but I also want it to say Taylor Johnson with my phone number, you can't customize any of it. So when I send you guys the link later or the email later, I have another store that we have like a storefront in where you can customize it with agent contact info. So I'll include that in there later on too. These are just some numbers that I put in here in case you need to know them. NAID number, EIN, broker license, company license, and company NERDS number, which is our national number. And then up top for HUD Home Store, I used to have how to register for HUD Home Store as a bidder, but last year they changed it to where it's different how we set you guys up now. So if you guys want to be added as a bidder on HUD Home Store, you'll just contact Tiffany, just email her and let her know I want to be registered for HUD. And she will set it up and send you your credentials or your login info. Two types of funding options at your closing. And we actually have three options because we have direct deposit now, but I'll explain that. So table funding and standard funding. Most people prefer table funding because table funding is when you walk away from the closing with a check with your name on it that you can go put in your bank account. Standard funding is when they cut your commission and the company's commission into one check. They cut it to Florida Homes. Once we get that check, as long as all your paperwork's in there, 24 hours later, we'll issue your check. So like I said, most people prefer table funding. And to get table funding, you have to have all of your documents in Workspace approved. And you also have to have the preliminary HUD, which is just the HUD before it's signed. And sometimes you guys get those the day before closing. It's not always tons of time before. So my suggestion for table funding is always, once you have the documents in there, even if you don't have the preliminary HUD, go ahead and submit it to us so we can approve every other document. That way, if all that's approved, all you have to do is upload the preliminary HUD, and now we only have to approve one document from there. Now, if you wait till you get the preliminary HUD, like let's say you wait to submit it to us until you get it. You get that prelim HUD the day before closing. Then you submit it to us. And now we're going in and approving your documents, and 3 of those documents are wrong. So now you're scrambling a day before closing to get these 3 documents corrected because you just waited to submit the whole thing until you got that prelim. You guys are more than welcome to submit it with everything without the prelim as soon as you're done with the transaction. And if you have questions on that, just let me know because that sounded really confusing. But we'll work with you. Just communicate with us and we'll make sure you get paid at the table. And then if you don't do table funding, so the only company that I've run into in my 8 years that does not do table funding is D.R. Horton. They're a builder, they just don't offer it. So that would have to be standard funding. And what we implemented this year is the direct deposit. So since that one has to be standard funding, once we get the check, as long as all your documents are approved, we will do that direct deposit 24 hours later, and it goes right into your bank account where you don't have to wait for us to cut a check and then come pick it up. Or let's say you're in Orlando and now we have to mail you a check. That's going to take a lot of time, especially with the postal service right now. So we offer the direct deposit too. And one of those banners on Workspace, you can click on to fill out your direct deposit where you want your money to go. And then it goes right into accounting and they keep it in your file for closings that are coming up or to be held or whatever it may be. Anytime you guys have anything mailed to the office, like if you go to closing and they hand you the check for Florida Homes and you don't want to drop it by here, you just want to mail it to us, just make sure anything that's being mailed, whether it's from you or title, is always mailed to the address like in the middle of the page in gold or yellow. Now, if you are in Northeast Florida or Jacksonville and you do want to drop it off to us to make sure it made it here, you can. We're here Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. But if it's after hours or on the weekends, that suite there, 102, they have a drop box where it just slides, it just goes into the office drop box. And they'll find it the next morning, as long as it's not a Friday. FHRM technology package. So we offer a package. It is an option. It's not mandatory for $39 a month. And it's a pretty good package. If people actually used it, it's really good for the price you get it for. So comes with 3 different platforms. The first one is Dotloop. Dotloop is like the DocuSign for real estate. So all the forms are in there. You can fill them out electronically and then you can send them for electronic signatures. And Dotloop, the reason I like Dotloop, because I have people that use Dotloop and then I have people that use Form Simplicity through the MLS, which I have no problem with that one either. The only reason I like Dotloop a little bit more is because Dotloop integrates with Workspace. So instead of, if I'm using Form Simplicity, I'm gonna have to, once I get something executed, I have to download that to my computer and then upload it to Workspace from my computer. If I'm using Dotloop, they integrate where I can just drag and drop. So it saves you some time. I mean, time's time. So it also comes with Bold Trail. Bold Trail is the new KV Core. So they got bought out by Bold Trail. And it's the same concept, new look, and then some new like add-ons that they added that are cool. So it's your website and your CRM. On your front end, what customers would see is you'd have a website that is fully customizable. You make it look how you want to. Now it comes, like once we give it to you, it comes looking clean. You just add your picture and you can market it if you want to. It looks clean the way it is, and it's connected to the MLS. It has an IDX feed, so all the listings are showing. But you can customize that as much as you want to. On the back end is your CRM. So that's your customer relationship manager. That's where you can put in potential customers, leads, whoever you want to put in there, your sphere of influence, and you can set up campaigns to campaign to these people. So you can either set up campaigns where they're getting emailed once a month about what the market's doing, market updates. Or maybe you want to send out a newsletter once a month to all of your sphere or current or past customers, whoever, and you don't want to make it all about real estate. You want it to be real estate and fun things to do in Jacksonville or Orlando or whatever city you're farming to. So they have campaigns in there that you can use that are ready to go. I just don't like them because they're a little spammy in my opinion, but you also have the ability to create your own campaigns and you can do as many as you want. So I have a lot of people that I'll sit with and we'll do campaigns for buyers, campaign for seller, campaign for renter, campaign for open house. Like we'll have separate ones and then I'll just have them assign whatever person to whatever campaign they want them on, and then it rolls for you. So it will send out the emails automatically. It can send out birthday and anniversary messages automatically, text messages automatically. Also on the back end of that, where your CRM is, there's a lot of lead generation aspects. So you can do landing pages and squeeze pages, which if you have questions on those, email me separately and we'll go over them. You can also do listing boosting. So like I said, there's a blanket over our brokerage where we can market any listing as long as it's Florida Homes listing. So through the back end of that, you can either post them to Facebook or social media for free, just post them. Or you can do what's called boosting, which is where you give Facebook like a weekly, monthly, daily allowance, whatever you choose. And it will go to whatever demographics you set, whatever audience you set with Facebook themselves. And people get leads that way too. And they do it for listings. They also do it for some of the squeeze pages, which is like if you're scrolling on your phone and you see like top 10 cities to visit in 2025, whatever little ad you see, that's what a squeeze page is. Ours are just real estate geared. So we can squeeze an ad together that says, click here to see Northeast Florida open houses this weekend. It pulls everything from the MLS. If they click on it, they put in their email. They do really get a list of whatever your ad says. And then you get their email or phone number or whatever they put in there to jump on that and further communicate with them or add them to campaigns or try to help them do whatever they're looking to do. Also, the last platform it comes with is called Core Listing Machine, which is pretty much like your social media on autopilot. So you'll link it to whatever social media you're using. You'll set it up one time with the content you want to go out. So it's going to ask you what holidays you want them to promote, what price listings you want them to promote, and then what topics do you want them to promote? Do you guys want them to post about do-it-yourself home improvement, mortgage, buying and selling tips? They give you like 20 or 30 to choose from. You could choose all of them if you wanted to. And then whatever you choose and set up that first time, you don't really have to touch it again. They're going to post for you automatically. The only time you would have to touch it is if you want to change something. So all three of those we bundle together for the $39 a month, not a requirement. If you guys have questions or want information or ready to sign up, email the email at the bottom and we'll get you the paperwork sent over or answer your questions first. Listed to sold program. So this is what I was referring to with Eli and Laura. where every time you list or sell, they make you the graphics. Now, you guys don't have to tell us to do this. We do this automatically from the MLS. We get a list every day of the new listings, the new solds, and then we do these automatically. The only time you would have to tell us to do this is if it's something that's not in the MLS. So sometimes new construction is not in the MLS. You might have to tell us that so that we can still, but we'll still do it for you. You just have to let us know because our reports come from the MLS. Or for sale by owner, you'd have to tell us that one. Other than that, it's an automatic thing they do. There's also a Facebook page, which you'll see kind of in that screenshot where it says FHRM listed to sold. That's a Facebook group that we have. So if you want to go follow it, like it, whatever you do with those, you can. And you can also search your name on that page, which I've had someone do is she went to the page and she searched her name on it and it brought up every post we had ever made for her. And then she kind of made like a little cute portfolio out of it or added testimonials to the ones she pulled from those people or from that property. And then we also send these to you for any marketing you'd like to use it for as well. If you guys have questions about that or are missing a listed to sold post or something like that, just email the email at the bottom and they will help you. Our free marketing portal. So same thing I was referring to in Workspace, the intranet system, the promote tab, and then that social media tab. This is just a slide on kind of the different ones. So like I said, we have different types of templates in there. The background remover is in there. We have brochures, flyers, email signatures, contact me. And then if you look in the middle of the screen, those little graphics where it says like agent name or call 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, those are the things you would customize on there. But it's really easy to do. If anybody has any questions or needs help with that, just reach out to us and we can walk you through it or jump on a call and do it with you. Our customizable listing presentation. So this is located in Workspace under Shared Docs, which if you're in Workspace, there's on the left-hand side, there's 3 little lines at the top. It's like a menu bar. If you click on that, there'll be a Shared Docs option. And then there's a folder in there that says listing presentation. That's where these are. When you click on it, it might not open right away because it actually downloads to your computer first. So it's a presentation kind of like this one, and it's already built for you for the majority of the presentation. It's like 47 slides long. And out of those 47 slides, there's like 3 or 4 that you actually need to customize if you want to. Other than that, it's pretty much built for you. But once it downloads to your computer, it's yours to use. So if you want to take out 20 slides or add in 20 more, it's yours to use. I usually suggest taking it and editing it with someone in marketing, or if you need help or anything like that. Get it to where you want it to be as a listing presentation. That way, when you're going forward to listing appointments, you only have to change those pages that need changing, those 3 or 4 that need changing. Other than that, the presentation is done how you want it done. Luxury marketing. So we also have luxury marketing through the company, a program for it. It's not a requirement. You don't have to use it, but it is pretty cool. So for luxury marketing, I'll include in the email I send you guys, I have like a PDF booklet thing on what all you get with luxury. So through the luxury portal, everybody has one if you're an agent with us, and I'll include that link later on too. But through the portal, you can make as many free listing presentations as you want for residential or commercial properties. So that's free. Now the fees that you see in the middle of the page, that's if you actually want to use the program further than that. So if you don't just want the presentation, what they'll do is if you decide to use the whole program, that listing would have its very own website, an aerial flyover, a Google tour, and then it goes into a whole bunch of elite advertising. Wall Street Journal, DuPont Registry, Robe Report, Upmarket, New York Times, Barron's, like a lot of other ones I'm forgetting right now, but stuff like that. And then the biggest thing for me is it goes on to the international MLS, and then it has international interactive advertising that goes out in those countries' languages. And then I also like that you and your seller get a weekly analytics report. So you'll get a report that says everywhere it's being marketed, and it's a lot of places. And then you'll be able to open that up and kind of see the ratios of what's getting the most traction. That way, maybe next time You don't have to use the whole program and you know what to do, or you know where to put more marketing dollars in for whatever property it is. So I think that's pretty cool too. The main thing is you don't pay any of these fees up front. So if you decide to use the whole program where these fees get involved, James, our broker, covers the upfront cost for you, and you only pay those fees if it closes, when it closes, at closing. Nicole Weber is our contact over there, so she's awesome. So you can call, text, or email her if you need help, like how do I present this to someone, or what else does it do? They have add-ons and stuff that you can add on as well. So I'll include that handout, and I'll include the link to where if you guys want to make the free listing presentations, you can. Quantum Digital is the platform I was referring to with Tarsha for farming. So if you guys don't know your account information for this, you can send Tarsha an email at the email on the screen, and just tell her that you're looking for your account for Quantum Digital. So it's for just listed, just sold postcards, trigger mailing. If you're looking to do like football calendars or whatever you're looking to do, they have tons of templates in there that are already made for you. You just update the information based on where you're at. So like if you're doing a market update postcard, it'll already be made, and it's going to say like homes sold in the last 30 days, homes bought in the last 30 days, how long are homes sitting on market. Now those numbers you'll have to fill in from MLS, but there's a whole page in MLS Analytics to get that information by date, month, or year, whatever you're looking to do. And then I like this system too, because the templates are already in there for you, but you can upload your own thing if you wanted to, which we can help you make over in marketing. And you only pay for what you use, and it's turnkey. So if the account's free to customize stuff in there, you only pay when you actually send stuff out. And we have a pretty discounted rate with them too. So if I only want to send 50 postcards to my subdivision, zip code, wherever, it's pretty inexpensive, depending on like glossiness, texture, what type of, if you're doing a calendar, that's probably going to be a little different than just a postcard. So just keep that in mind. But then they stamp them and mail them for you, and it's turnkey as far as getting that owner or renter's information. So if I want to send 100 postcards to my subdivision, I can put in my subdivision, it pulls up all the little houses and addresses, and I can choose an owner's campaign or a renter's campaign, and then it will pull those people. I can make sure that's who I want, and then it stamps them and mails them for you. So you don't have to upload your own lists unless you have a very specific list, you know, where it's some people in this area, some in this, then you probably want to upload your own one. You could probably do it that way too. I just haven't gone that far deep into it. But if you have any questions on this, just email the email. We'll go over it with you and see if you want to use it. Now we get into the fun stuff, our fees. We don't really have any fees, guys. So there's no joining fees, no monthly, no annual, no desk fees, no training fees. We're not a franchise, we're homegrown, no franchise fees. The only optional fee is that $39 a month, which is why we don't make it a requirement, because we know everybody's different, what they need is different. So other than that, there is no fees. The only time you're really ever going to pay us is when you have a commission close or a transaction close. And up here, I just have a $400,000 sales price at 3% commission, which would be a $12,000 commission. How we operate for our commission split is we're going to get 0.002 times whatever that sales price is. We go off the sales price, not the commission that you're bringing in. So if you take the sales price times 0.002, that equals $800. We also use the 0.002 to cover E&O insurance, errors and omissions liability insurance. So you don't have to worry about that. So 12,000 minus 800 is 11,200, which is what you would net. Now, the only other fee we have per transaction is we have a transaction fee of $189. Usually that's charged to the buyer or seller, whoever you're representing, but you can do that however you'd like to. It's your business. So if you want to charge it to them, that's fine. They can pay for it at closing. If you want to pay for it for them, also fine. It'll come out of your commission at closing, nothing up front. But you can also charge whatever you want there. So being out in the field, you'll notice that there's tons of different transaction fees, whether it's brokerages or just different agents. So if I want to charge $289 to my buyer, you can. All Florida Homes is gonna take is the 189, but that extra $100 I added will just go back on my commission. So I can work my numbers my own way, if that makes sense. The only time you can't charge the transaction fee is on VA loans. We're just not allowed to. So at that point, it would come out of your commission at closing. But other than that, you can switch it up transaction to transaction. I have some people that only charge transaction fees to sellers because sellers are making a profit, whereas buyers are already scrambling for closing costs, down payment, possibly commissions. I have some people that like on lower end, maybe land deals or something. So on $100,000 land deal, what they'll do is they'll charge a 389 transaction fee, which covers our 189, and then that extra 200 they charged covers the 0.002 of the 100,000, and they really do walk away with 100% commission. But you can switch it up however you'd like. If you guys have questions on that, just let me know. Revenue share plan, this graphic is very confusing. So everybody has their own portal to see like who they've referred to the company, what transactions they're working on, what your check is accumulating to that month, because we do the checks monthly for right now, which eventually will be direct deposited once we get a handle on things. So your first level is 3 people, right above where it says you, those 3 people above you, that's your first level. And all those percentages are a percentage off of the allotted amount, allocated amount. The allocated amount is 25%. So if you take 40% of 25%, that's 10%. So your first level is 10%. And every time you have agents closing transactions that you've referred, like let's say on a $400,000 transaction where I'm giving Florida Homes $800, if you're at this first level for 10%, you're getting 10% of whatever I'm paying Florida Home. So you get a check that month for $80. Now if I have 10 agents under me doing the same thing, you're gonna get a check for a lot more because we let it accumulate for the whole month. And then once that month closes out, we'll pay you, whatever your residual is. And then with this plan, it kind of expands for 7 levels. So when you get to your third person on that first level, it unlocks your second level, which means now people that these 3 people are referring, you're also going to get a little piece of them too, a smaller percentage, but it's like a trickle down effect for 7 levels, but it's all off the company dollar, never off of anybody's commission. One of the reasons I really like it. I know it has my email at the bottom. The questions I can answer are percentages, money amounts, who's referred who, kind of like that side of it. If you need help with how to get into your portal, what your login is, any of that, that's going to be Tarsha. And you would email onboarding for that. I'll put it in the chat. Just if anybody wants access to their portal and wants to email her, you can. But questions on any of the other stuff as far as percentages, I didn't get a check last month for whoever you referred, whatever, let me know and I can help with that. Flexible listing commission. So this is something that I had in here before the NAR anti-lawsuit. I've had this in here a long time. I just didn't take it out because I like to make a certain point with it. So obviously all commissions are negotiable now. Nothing's implied, usual, customary, it's all negotiable. I kept this in here just to keep in mind that, for instance, like if you guys work with new construction or anybody that's offering an agent bonus, some resales do it too. Anytime you're getting an agent bonus, we don't take any of that because we're always going to go off the sales price, not the commission that you're bringing in. So that's why I kept it in here, just to let you guys know that. Obviously, you're free to negotiate your commission now, especially after the lawsuit. But anytime there's a bonus offered or you receive a bonus, we don't take any of that. That all goes to you because remember, we're always coming off the sales price, not the actual amount of commission you're bringing in. And that's it. Welcome to Florida Homes. I'm going to stop sharing so I can bring you guys all up on screen and see if anybody has questions. I've wrote down a lot of stuff that I'm sending in the email, but if anybody thinks of anything else they need or they have a question about, you can ask it. You can pop it in the chat. I don't think there was any questions in the chat so far. No.
Hey, I had a quick question regarding the payment. So if I know on the buyer agent agreement,
Mhm.
we specify an amount with the buyers.
Buyer broker agreement?
Yeah. And if it
Yeah.
can never go above that amount, if there was like a bonus offered, would we just put on there a percentage or an amount? And then can you write plus any bonus offered, or how does
So
that?
there's a separate section for new construction, if it was new construction bonus, and we have a new, let me share my screen. We have a new, let me show you where it's at. That is not what I was looking for. We have a new spreadsheet, not a spreadsheet, like, where's my stuff? Like a FAQ sheet, maybe that's what I should call it. Let me see. Can you see my screen? Yeah, cool. So if you come up to these three lines and you go to shared docs, this first folder, updated documents and BBA presentation, if you open this up, there's a new document that we put in here right here, which is how to fill out things. I like it because just like your question, if you scroll down to the bottom, there's QR codes on all these, or you can click on them either way. But I like it because if I scroll down, it's right here where it says FHRM BBA, if I open this up, hold on, it always does this. I have to download it first because I have Adobe, so it acts really weird. Hold on. Okay. Can you guys see? I don't know what you can see. You should be able to see buyer broker agreement with like red lettering on it. Can you see that? Okay. So I really like this form because they kind of fill it out with like how to do things. So if I scroll down to the money pieces, right here, it's talking about your percentages. And then down here, you'll see like for new construction, insert 5 in case they do offer bonuses, because this document, there's a modification to this document. It can always be modified down, but it cannot be modified up. So I would put whatever commission I'm trying, like, let's say I'm going to put 4% on there in case a bonus is offered, or 5% in case a bonus is offered, but they come back and they're like, yeah, no bonus, we're only doing 3%. I would modify this down to 3% because you can't get whatever that you can only get what this says. So I would always start high because it can always be modified down. It just can't be modified up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Cool. And there's another, like how I just clicked on that QR code to see that the red lettering one, there's also one for the modification to see how to modify the buyer broker agreement as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't think there's specific wording you can put on there because I've got this question before, like in the additional terms, can I put if bonus is offered, something like that? I don't think there is. I'm going to ask Stephanie because I'm curious, the broker on the broker hotline. But I think what we usually advise people is putting it higher because it can always come down, I believe. But I'll see for bonuses if there is anything you can put in additional terms. And when I send you guys this email, if there is, I will put it in the email for you. Cool. Any other questions? And there's also on that PDF I just did, they have it for listing agreement, purchase and sale. They have it for a whole bunch of different types of documents, and we're working on some more of them. But that's a really good one in there. Also in there, you're gonna find one that says flow chart, and it tells you what documents go with what transaction. So if you're working with vacant land, this is what you need. Residential transaction, this is what you need. And it goes over like our disclosures and stuff like that too. That's also in that 2024 updated, and it's helpful as well. Any other questions? No? Going once, going twice? Well, give me some time to try to figure out some of these answers, but by the end of the day, I will send you guys the presentation, this recording if you want it, all the links that I talked about for luxury and new agent orientation and workspace and all that stuff. And then if you guys have questions, you know where to find me. Just call, text, or email me and we will work them out. I hope everybody has a terrific Tuesday and a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.